guys, it's Shaylin and welcome to another writing video. So today I'm picking up right where my last vlog ended off. If you don't know what's going on, watch part one. I am currently traveling through Asia, mostly through Southeast Asia. Been here for about 10 days and I am about halfway through my trip. So I'm just taking you along my travels and the writing that I'm trying to do during my travels. I haven't been writing a ton, obviously, because I've had some pretty packed days. Fast-paced trip, very fast-paced, only have 3 weeks, lots we want to see. This is not a slow travel situation. This is a fast travel situation. I would love to have more time in pretty much every single place on this trip. Normally when I'm traveling, I do not write. Normally I don't even bring my computer, but when I was looking at the itinerary, I felt like there would be some downtime and especially evenings that I really wanted to get some work done on my book. You know, I always want to write while I'm traveling and I always really miss not being able to write. Like, it always kind of is a pain that I can't. So I'm currently in Ho Chi Minh City. Tomorrow's our only full day in the Ho Chi Minh City, but we don't really have any real plans. Like, we're just gonna explore the city, really. I'm mainly here for food related reasons. And then we're going to Kyoto, which is in the Mekong Delta, which I've also never been to. My first trip here, I just saw the north of Vietnam, and I've got 4 days in Japan at the end. I have family in Japan. My stepbrother lives there with his family. My mom and stepdad will stay longer to visit the family. As for writing, I am currently writing the first draft of my fantasy book. I'm gatekeeping the title and all information about it because I've decided that from now on I'm not really going to be sharing information about my writing projects until they're done. So we're just calling it by the acronym, which is TBO. It is a fantasy book. I'm kind of trying to fast draft this because I am starting my master's degree in September and I want the first draft to be done before then, which is a bit ambitious. But the book is loosely outlined, more so than my normal work. I normally don't outline my work at all. This is a bit of a genre switch for me since I normally write literary fiction, but so this is my first kind of dip into fantasy in a long time. So I am trying to fast draft this by writing 1 part a month, and my goal was to be done by the end of August because I'm starting grad school, but I actually got a bit ahead of the game because I finished part 1 early. So I'm now working on part 2, just about to start part 2, and my goal is to be done that by the end of April, which will have me on track to be done the whole book by the end of July. Don't know what it'll look like over the next few days, but I'll take you guys along for the journey.
I know as much is true, I think this really good, but
the lighting is really angelic. I feel like I'm being beamed into the heavens or something. So today we got into Kyoto, which is in the south of Vietnam. It took about 3 hours to get here on a bus from Ho Chi Minh. So yesterday we had the full day in Ho Chi Minh. It was kind of a rough day because I had heat exhaustion and I felt like I was on the brink of death all day. The whole day I felt terrible and I wasn't sure if it was heat exhaustion or if I was getting sick, and I was really stressed that I was getting sick. I woke up today feeling fine. We were pretty glad to get out of Ho Chi Minh City. Sorry, we didn't really like Ho Chi Minh City. It was not my favorite. Hanoi is like one of my favorite cities in the world. Hanoi is just such a fun city. It's so eclectic, and Ho Chi Minh, I didn't love as much. I do not share the same real affinity for Ho Chi Minh. We are now in the Mekong Delta. I'm very excited. This is kind of our relaxing stop for the trip and I'm ready for some relaxing. We took another sleeper bus here and I don't know what it is about these sleeper buses, but I get so much writing done on these darn sleeper buses. Like the one from Sapa, I got so much work done. This time I was ready. Wrote almost the whole bus. I think I wrote like 1,800 words, and I don't know what it is, but when I'm on these sleeper buses, the words flow. Like, not just do I write a lot, but they're really good words. So the voice that I'm writing, like I'm writing a fantasy book and I don't necessarily want it to feel historical, but I want it to feel otherworldly a little bit. I don't want it to be dense to read. I still want it to be easy to read, and I want it to be accessible, but I want it to feel kind of otherworldly, like a fairy tale like. And something about these 2 bus trips, I feel like I just tap into this voice in like a like the best that I have at any point. A few things I want to go adjust in that scene now that I've thought about it a little further, but I think this might be one of the stops on the trip where I get the most writing done, just because we don't really have a lot planned. The rest of the trip was pretty fast paced, but for this trip there wasn't a ton planned. It's more of a chill vibe. I've written, I think I'm at like 17,000 words into the draft, so I've written like about 8,000 words on this trip so far, which is, I don't know how have I found the time to do that, but anyways. Hello there, so I'm in my hotel room in Kyoto, Japan. We flew into Japan yesterday from Ho Chi Minh City, and today I've just been exploring the city, and then we went to the like Shinto Thousand Gates. I forget the Japanese name for it because I was not navigating today. I was being led around by my family who've been here before, which was amazing. I find a lot of the time those kind of like must-see big attractions, you know, touristy attractions, kind of were underwhelming when you get there, but this was really amazing. Something about the architecture is so calming. Like, I felt calm when I was there. Anyways, it was really beautiful. And then we got conveyor belt sushi, which was so good. It was really, really good. And I don't even eat fish. My mom said that it was the best sushi she's had in Japan, and she eats fish, and a fun experience too. Wasn't one of the conveyor belt sushi ones where a machine makes it, like there were chefs making it. I did some shopping, got some little gifts for friends that I've been looking for. It was such a lovely day, and then we're gonna go get ramen, which I'm stoked about. I don't think I'm gonna do any writing today because it was kind of just a full day of exploring. I think tomorrow's gonna be the same. We don't have much time in Japan, so it's make the most of it. It's not really a go do stuff for half the day, then come back for a big break, then go out for dinner. It's really like a full days kind of thing. But yesterday on the train so we flew into Tokyo and then we took the train to Kyoto. If I got a window seat, I probably would have just zoned out and listened to music because it's like my first time in Japan and I would have wanted to like look at the countryside. And actually, I'm really excited I didn't want to see because it was blue hour, and it like, from when I would kind of peek out, it looked really, really like, it was so blue, it was cool. I was just sitting on the train, and so I wrote for about a bit. And I got so much done, and I don't know what it is about writing on public transport on this trip, because I got so much done on the sleeper buses both time, and then so much done on the train. Like for some reason, when I'm on public transport, I just zone in. Really zone in. All the other times I've written on the trip, when I've just been like in a hotel room in the afternoon, like it's been fine, like I've written like a normal amount, but nothing about it feels incredible. But then when I've been writing on public transport, incredible. Definitely bringing my laptop with me on the flight home. On the flight here, I just had my laptop in my bag in the overhead because I was like, it was a red eye, and I was like, I really just want to sleep. But I think I'm gonna see if I can write on the flight home. Anyways, that's to say, writing is great. I cracked 20,000 words, so that means that I've written about 10,000 words on this trip so far. So I checked off the first chapter and the first journal entry that I had to write for part 2. I had 4 main chapters planned, but looking at what I planned to, one of them I think doesn't need to be a full chapter, so I'm gonna consolidate it, so it's only 3 chapters. So I feel like I'm making really fantastic progress with that. And yeah, great last few days of my trip. I doubt this will be the last time I come to Japan because, you know, my mom and my stepdad are making yearly trips here, so I assume I'll come back. Obviously 4 days in Japan is, you're barely scratching the surface. 4 days in any country is barely doing anything. It's not really like a full seeing Japan trip. I'm sure I'll be back at some point. So for that reason, I'm also not too stressed about like I have to see everything. I have to see everything that there is to see because I'm like pretty much certain that I'll be back. So that's kind of nice, takes the pressure off feeling like I have to see everything. But yeah, lovely day in Kyoto. Yeah, really beautiful city, Kyoto. Really, really beautiful city. And tomorrow we're gonna walk around and I think look at a bunch of the different like temples, which I'm really excited about. I think they're gonna be beautiful. It's like the tail end of cherry blossom season, so it's packed here right now. I'm gonna go get ready for dinner and I'll see you guys next time, probably nearing the end of this vlog because I only have a couple days left of my trip. This is my fit check for our nice dinner out. I hung up my shirt earlier because like my shirts, most of them that I have are linen and so they get kind of wrinkly in my bag. Didn't want to look like a total slob for this dinner because everyone in Japan is so well dressed. Everywhere you go, everyone's clothes are like perfectly pressed. Like everyone is like perfectly dressed. So I was like, I can't do that today. Like I can't be like a total disaster. And then I forgot about my pants and they're kind of wrinkly. I'm a tourist, it's obvious. We can't pretend I'm not. I'm the derpy Canadian. It's pretty obvious to everyone. These are the longest fries I've ever seen.
So we could go to our hotel and drop off.
And then a little bit of chili.
Yeah, a little bit of chili. So good morning from Tokyo. Today is the last day of my trip. I'm flying out tonight at 5 p.m. So I'm kind of just getting ready to leave right now. It's about 9:15 and we're heading out at about 9:45, so in about half an hour. We only were in Tokyo for 1 night, so we came over yesterday from Kyoto on the train, had just like a final day in Tokyo. We're staying at a hotel. It's an onsen, or it has an onsen, and it's really nice with the onsen on the roof. So I woke up this morning and went to the onsen one more time. Yesterday we just walked around Shinjuku. Today we basically are just gonna go get lunch and then I'm going to the train station and then I'm gonna fly home. It's a direct flight, which is so nice, and it's a few hours shorter. On the way here I flew to Taipei and then to Hanoi, so that was like a 12-hour flight followed by I think like a 3 or 4 hour flight. Today I just have one direct flight, Tokyo to Vancouver, and I think it's only 9 hours. As a final writing recap, I wrote a bit on the train yesterday, not as much. I didn't get in the transportation groove that I've really been getting in. I think the chapter I'm writing right now is honestly probably what's going to be one of the more difficult chapters in the book. It's a difficult chapter to choreograph. I got a good sense of how I want to structure the chapter and where I'm going with it. I have a few scenes left, but I don't think all of them are going to be too long, but one of them is the first meeting of my two main characters, so that's very exciting. I'm hoping to write a bit on the plane. My flight leaves at 5 p.m. and so it's not a red eye. It's not like my flight here, which was a red eye. So I just left my computer in the overhead. I didn't even bother because I wanted to try and sleep the whole time because it left at 1:30 in the morning. I don't think I'm gonna sleep much on this flight. I am a really light sleeper and it's really hard for me to sleep on planes. So I probably won't really sleep that much on the plane, which means I do have to kill 9 hours. So I am hoping to get some writing done on the plane. But overall, I definitely wrote more on the trip than I was actually expecting to. I think I wrote in the end probably around 11,000 words, which I think is pretty good. Like, I'm pretty pleased with that. And I'm definitely on track to finish part 2 before the end of April, probably with ease. Like, it's not going to be hard for me to wrap up. I don't think. I have half of this chapter and then one other chapter and then 2 little epistolary chapters. But really, of the big chapters, I just have 1.5 left. So I think it should be fine. So I think I can easily do that. The third part is definitely going to be the most difficult because it's the one that I have planned out in the least detail. And I think it's going to be the longest for sure. And the most complex. It's kind of like in like Save the Cat, it would be, part 3 would be kind of like the fun and games beat, or the promise of the premise. It's kind of where, like, you know, you're seeing the core concept of the book play out. And so I think it's going to be really fun to write, but it's definitely going to be the most challenging. I would love to have some extra time to work on that more than just the month of May. If I could wrap up part 2 a little bit early and have like an extra week or something to get started on that would be great. That's really all for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know this was a very different type of video for me. I've been wanting to vlog a trip for a really long time and I just never end up doing it. View my writing vlogs as like a diary for me to look back. I figured why shouldn't I do that with traveling as well? It's probably even better to be able to look back on a trip and have that kind of detail. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. That's all for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching and I'll see you in another video. Bye!